But this is your boy King Legend 757, and we're live right here on King Legend Talks with the one and only Michael Blackson. How does it feel, man? Welcome to the show. I appreciate you for being here.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm feeling good. I'm so mad we're not on my other page that we had like at least 1,500 people watching it. But it's okay. I'm gonna repost it. You know, when you're done with this, edit it the right way. I'm gonna repost it on the page so the fans can see whatever they are missing. I'm good. I'm here. Obviously, I'm in a nice place.
I
So I'm
see.
in California. You know, it's been cold as hell the last few days been very cold. But today we woke up to like 85-degree weather.
Absolutely. I know that feels a little bit better than it being extremely cold like you've been having to go through.
Yes, you know, I was raised in Philly, and I left. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I go home at least once a month, but I left
Hmm.
Philly about 7 years ago, and now I understand why people move to California. We move here for the weather, but the weather been very disappointing the last couple of weeks. But today we got our money's work. When
Absolutely.
Cali's expensive, and you paying niggas pay like 3,000 for a 1 bedroom apartment because 1,500 of that goes towards the weather.
Yeah,
That,
definitely.
that
It's a
that
convenience
goes to
fee.
God. God, we gotta pay God's fee for giving us this nice sun. It ain't no sun where you at. Y'all niggas still stuck in that snow traffic, and you got a $3,000 Uber bill, motherfucker. I heard about
It happens, man. So look, I'm gonna go ahead and address the elephant in the room because whenever I bring someone on the platform, normally they're typically known for something as a classic. So in your case, I'm quite sure you can't ever avoid the question about next Friday and your role as the customer entering through the store. That was such an iconic role in a classic film. How does it feel to be a part of something that was so major like that? It really stood the test of time.
when we first did it, when I was first invited to come audition for this movie, I had no idea what it was.
Hmm.
Oh, I remember it was one of those things at the right place at the right time. So I remember usually I used to go to LA like every other week because I had the last road job I had. I worked for the airlines. Work for the airline, you get a fly for free. That's the big, and that's the only reason I took the job because I was using them. I use them niggas for their flight benefits, right? I would come to LA like every other week, and then I'll try to get on stage, hopefully to get seen by the right people. So this
Hmm.
particular night was a Tuesday night. I came to LA. I remember I used to be off from work. I used to be off Tuesday and Wednesday from the airlines. So I remember Monday after work, I worked like 6 a.m. to like 11 a.m.
Hmm.
Part-time work. So what I usually do, I'll take like a 2 p.m. flight to LA every other week. So I took a 2 p.m. flight to LA Monday, get to LA like 5 p.m. Monday night is like a Monday night is an urban night at the comedy club called Improv on Melrose. That was supposed
Right.
to be Ray Davis. D-Ray been doing that shit for like 300 years.
Right.
Like 1999. D-Ray used to host Monday night at the Improv, and then Tuesday night was another nigga night at the Comedy Store. So these are major white comedy clubs, but they give the black people one night a week.
Hmm.
So they host their own show. So those nights are the nights where you get like everybody that's popular that's black would come out. Like on Monday, like especially Tuesday night. Tuesday night, you'll get like a nigga like Eddie Murphy come and hang out, Chris Rock. They
Right.
Denzel, all them actors would come out.
Yeah.
So Tori used to host Tuesday night at the Comedy Store. So I happened to be there the same night Ice Cube came to see Mike Epps that night for the first time. So that was the night I happened to be on the show. And I remember after the show, what I heard was like Ice Cube approached the lady that booked the show, like, yo, who's the African guy you had on the show? Can he come out and audition for the movie? So I
Wow.
remember she hit me up, she said, hey, they're working on this movie called Next Friday. I didn't know what it was. I had no idea it had anything to do with the Friday movie.
So you had never seen the first Friday?
I saw the first Friday, but I didn't know this. This was like 5 years later almost.
Right.
Friday came out in 95. This was like 99. It's
Uh-huh.
like 2.5 years later. You closing? The whole place or just a section? Okay. So it was It was 4 years later. It just said the project says next Friday. I didn't know it meant like the sequel to Friday. I
Yeah.
just thought it was a whole different project. I didn't know it was a TV show, a movie, a porn hub. I didn't know what it was.
Right.
I just said, you know what? Okay, so I didn't realize it was a sequel to Friday till Guy Tori later on told me about it because I knew
Hmm.
they me up say, hey, they want to do this for this movie, and then Guy was like, hey, Mike, you know that movie this thing the script for is the sequel to Friday. I'm like, oh shit, dope, you
Right.
know, um, and I mean I still had to fly out, so I remember I went back home to Philly, and then I had to come back like a week later to audition. And I auditioned for the movie in front of the casting agent who was Kim Harding, I think was her name, and the director who was Steve Carr. Steve Carr was like, this is like his first movie because he did mostly music videos.
Hmm.
And that's when they started using music video directors to direct movie. That's how, was it Hype? What's the Hype first name? Is it Hype Williams or something? And then what's the other guy, the director? I mean, so many of the directors that started doing movies all started out with music videos.
Right.
And that was Steve Carr's first movie directing. And I remember I went audition for it, man. I just went real ham and went crazy with it. You know, like give it all I had.
Absolutely. So was that your idea, or like was the whole thing kind of like improv, or when you walked in and you started acting crazy, was that kind of all you?
That was all me. The only thing that was on the script that I said that was in a movie I heard was the words, "I can't get jiggy with this shit." Everything else that came out of my mouth and Mike Epps' mouth, we
Yeah.
improved it. At that moment, I've known Mike for about, this is like 99. I've known Mike for at least 6 years. We've been all doing jokes like we started like 93, 94.
Yeah.
So we knew each other. We already had like a little chemistry so we could fuck around with each other and we felt comfortable.
Yeah. Y'all got crazy chemistry, by the way, on screen. Like as far as the way you guys go
So,
in a roast battle, who would win?
huh?
In a roast battle, who do you think would win between you and Mike
Uh,
Epps?
I beat Mike. Mike gonna have a lot of dog jokes. That's it.
Right.
I'm gonna go in on, everything about him. Like him being like 50 years old and still dressing like he's 31. He dress like an old young nigga. That's how I call him. So I would have a lot more to say. But even on Wildin' Out, man, those guys, they be trying to get me, but at the end of the day, I'm the I'm like the underdog. So
Yeah.
underdog always win, man. All I gotta do is come up with a couple of good shit, and that will be enough to knock them both out.
I think your stage presence has a lot to do with your delivery too, because when you get up there and you start roasting people, I think it's your personality on top of what you're saying that makes it even more funny.
But the thing about growing up in the East Coast, especially Philly, even like when we all started like with Kevin Hart and all them guys that with the New York comic. Thing about
Mm.
Philly was not. We didn't have much places to perform in Philly, so we spent a lot of time in New York.
Hmm.
New York comedians are the worst. I mean, these guys, as soon as you come around them, we got to start roasting each other. So you got to start getting niggas right away. Because as soon as if you get 10 comedians together outside, they start sizing each other up. So I
Right.
learned early, you got to just go in quick. Because if not, they're going to go in on you. So you
Absolutely.
catch them off guard, and that's what I think, that's what made East Coast comics much stronger and tougher because it's tough. Niggas start roasting you back in fucking elementary school.
Right. You stay ready so you ain't got to get ready too.
Stay ready, man. I'm ready right now. Any haters on live, I'll light your bitch ass up.
Now, I remember a couple years ago, you came out to Virginia Beach. You were at the Funny Bone.
Right.
And I actually was at that show, and I walked up on the stage, and the first thing you said to me was, "Biggie is not dead." That was the first thing you said. I was like, "Oh, he's ready."
I don't remember that shit.
I know you don't, but I know I would. I was like, "Okay, he ready." The first thing he said was, "Biggie is not dead." Okay, I was like, "All right, you got me. You got." I didn't want no more smoke after that. I did not want no smoke after that. You got it.
2011-ish, 12-ish.
Yeah, it was back then. It was definitely around, I say 2012 ish, somewhere around there.
Okay.
But it was good vibes, good chemistry, the good performance as usual. I mean, I consider you to be a superstar when it comes to this comedy. So you definitely well experienced and know what you're talking about when you get on stage. So moving forward, thinking about your career, did you ever see yourself being at this place, that you are right now in your life when you first started?
Um, when you start comedy, man, I started out when I was different from everybody else. And then, you start to like, okay, you say to yourself, in like 5 years, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be doing this and that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, God controls what happens to you, where you go, how big you get, how small you go, when you fall off. I mean, don't get it wrong, you gotta put in hard work and dedication. When
Right.
next Friday came out, I mean, I've been doing comedy 6, 7 years already. A lot of times when people see you for the first time, they think like you just coming out. No, that I was already in 6, 7 years. You know,
Right.
I mean, if you go back to Comic View, I mean, my first Comic View was 1994. That's when it was a competition.
Mm-hmm.
I made $150. I had to fly myself to LA. I had to pay for my own hotel, and I have to wait like a whole month for my $150 check. I came to LA for negative $700, pretty much.
Wow.
But that's all part of the grind. Um,
That takes a lot of faith too, man, because some people not willing to take that L. They're not willing to sacrifice a lot of financial situations, when they're taking that leap. So for you, what was that confidence like for you that you just knew something was going to come out of it?
well, you gotta invest into yourself. I mean, I invested $700, and of course, look where I'm at today. But even though I went, it was a competition. I remember D.L. Hughley was the host of that. I lost the first round. I came back home, but I came home, and then like a few months later, I'm on TV, and I didn't even have cable. So people are like, "Oh, Mike, we saw you on TV." I'm like, "Okay, nice." Okay, maybe I get some pussy now, whatever. And even after that one season, I didn't even do it again for like a while. Like they didn't even invite me back
Mm-hmm.
for like to like '98. So almost 4 years later, I had to before I went back to Comic View, and then from like '98 and then '99, the movie came. I did the movie 2000. The movie came out 2001. I was a super ghetto superstar,
Mm-hmm.
right? Ghetto superstar. I go from like not getting no booking to getting booked everywhere. I went from like making $500 a show to like $2,500 a show from the next Friday. So I'm collecting every money, every nightclub that want to book me, every club, everywhere.
Right.
I'm on everybody's show making my money. Did it for like 3 straight years. But at that moment I was never managed. I never had a manager. I never had no agent. I had a beeper and a goddamn house phone.
Wow.
So if I miss a beep or I don't return a beep in time, I'm screwed. In fact, after I did Next Friday, the guy that directed Next Friday, Steve Carr was directing, he directed Dr. Doolittle too. This is how much I missed out on. Because I remember being at work and getting a page a few times, but I didn't return this page. I returned
Mm-hmm.
the page like 5 days later, and I missed out on being a voice on Dr. Doolittle too.
Wow.
So the mistake I made there was when I first got into the movie, when I first got Next Friday and the buzz was out, everybody was loving Michael Blackson. I should have packed my bags and moved to Cali, because with it at that moment back then, the industry taking more serious when you're here. It's not like
Right.
it's like we got social media; they could find anybody anytime. You know,
Mm-hmm.
now it's not even about it's changed. It's totally different now. We don't even. I don't need to be. I'm just here for the weather. I could live anywhere I want now and still be successful. So
Right.
letting niggas out there like you don't have to be out here. We have this social media that you can pretty much that's your own television network. This is your own station. Just give them some good content and shit will come to you that's meant to come.
Yeah, I definitely remember that being a trend. Everyone that wanted to make it big had to move to Hollywood.
Adam,
That was the place to be.
yes. So I missed. I didn't do that. Because I was out too busy picking up my little $2,500. You know what I mean? Because I had nobody telling me, "Hey, Mike, this is what you're supposed to do." I was just like, shit, nigga, I'm getting my money. I'm saving my money. And that's what happened. So in 2005, I tried to come out to LA, but then my buzz was done. It
Yeah.
wasn't buzzing no more. So I came out, I could barely, the comedy clubs didn't want to give me love. I was like, but then mind you, I was still popping the East Coast. I was still making money. I was just out here trying to try it out. And
Right.
I'm just spending this at that moment, like a one bedroom back then was like $1,100 a month. Back in, this is like 2005. Now they're saying one bedroom is like 2,500, 3,000. But then I'm like, I'm just spending $1,100 a month for nothing. You know what I mean? I'm like,
And what was your mindset back then during that time though? Like when you had the fame, you had the buzz, but when it was over for that slight moment, what did you think? Like what was your headspace at?
I never gave up. I never thought it was over. I just thought like, I need to. I said to myself, I came to LA. I tried out for like a year and a half, 2 years. I'm like, you know what? I'm just wasting money. I'm gonna go back east. I'm gonna go back and figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
While I'm figuring out, I'm gonna save myself $1,100 a month because I had a house and a mortgage already I was responsible for. So I
Right.
went home and then I was like, okay, let me figure it out. Let me, work and figure it out. And then boom, social media came out. 2010, 2009, Twitter came out. That's
That
no
was a big deal. That was a game changer.
that changed everything. And don't get it wrong, I was still a little late with Twitter. 'Cause I remember when it came out. By the time it came out, was on Facebook, had my little. Back then, the maximum you could have on Facebook was 5,000 people. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
a fan page, so I had my little 5,000 Facebook followers. I'm having fun with them. I'm happy with that. And then
Mm-hmm.
my guys like this thing is called Twitter. You should get on there. I'm like, man, Mike, fucking no goddamn shit. He said, Mike, you got to get on there. I said, okay, fuck it, I'm getting on. I get on. By the time I got on, I was like probably 4 or 5 months late. Kevin,
Mm-hmm.
D. Ray Davis, Marlon Wayans, fucking Lil Duval. Them niggas already on top of the world on that shit. They all verified with like 50, 100,000 followers. They popping. I'm like,
Yeah.
late. So by the time I got on Twitter, some nigga already took my name. I couldn't even, Michael Blackson was gone.
Wow.
And
That's
I'm
crazy.
this nigga pick. This nigga is, and not only he took my name, he's pretending to be me.
And
This
he probably getting all the followers and everything just like that.
nigga repeating, doing all my shit. I'm messaging one time, I'm like, nigga, I'm Michael Blackson.
You probably made his day too. I can only imagine pretending to be somebody and then that person hits you up.
Yo, he had 60,000 followers on Twitter. That was a lot. And back then, you could make money on Twitter. So he was making money. I said, listen, if you're going to use my name, at least promote my shows for me. If I got a show coming, can I get it flyers so you can post it? Nigga just ignored me, right?
Wow.
Ignored me. I'm like, all right, so I had to create a whole new page called something. I forgot what it was. I forgot what my new page was.
That's crazy. The disrespect.
I had to create a page called The Real Michael Blackson. I created this page and it's doing okay. I'm, cracking jokes here and there. And then I was like, I gotta get my page back. I gotta get my name back.
Yeah.
So I did. I had I contact Twitter, sent him my Wikipedia account. I'm the real Michael Blackson. Did it. And fortunately for me, he took that nigga, gave my name and took it away from him.
Oh, okay.
Give me the blue check, verified me, and it was a done deal. So now I'm verified. I'm trying to pop. Everybody was on there already roasting each other. D-Ray and them going at Cav. They're all on there creating a big buzz on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get on. Them niggas is ignoring me. Nobody trying to show me no love, right? None of them niggas trying to show me love.
Wow.
And then one day, I just kept lighting Kevin Hart up, lighting up Kev. I like Kev. Kev finally responded one night, and we went back and forth for like at least 20 jokes each.
Right.
Shut down the whole Twitter was shut down. So after Kev responded, now all of a sudden, everybody want to stop. Now everybody want to roast me now. So every day I'm going in with like Terry Crews, Marlon Wayans, D. Ray Davis, load everybody now. I'm buzzing on Twitter.
Michael Blackson is back.
Michael Blackson is back. And then from there, he came out. I wasn't too far away from IG. I got on IG maybe a month late, but then I got on IG and figured out between Twitter and Instagram. But Twitter was what really got me back because from Twitter, The guy that created Kings of Comedy. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm so mad I can't think of my guy's name. But he contacted me about doing like a YouTube show for him. So I
Mm-hmm.
did a show, got my first YouTube paycheck. He agreed to pay me 50 grand a year to just provide a show, once a week show for him. And I was doing a
Okay.
show called Black Friday. So every Friday I got on my couch and made fun of everything that happened that week. All the celebrities that fucked up, I roasted everybody. So that's why
Right.
I was week. And then that show was on World Star Hip Hop. Every week they posted my shit. And then I became I was on the internet crazy. I became like an internet sensation. From YouTube, and the World Star was posting me every week. So all the
Mm-hmm.
rappers, everybody was like trying to do shit. And that's how I kind of like that's how I got my swag back. Social media.
Gotcha. So how do you deal with fame, man? Being famous and everything like that. Like, I know there's a lot of people that, on the outside looking in, a lot of people want to be famous, but with you actually seeing it from a different perspective, is it everything that it's cracked out to be?
Nah, man, it ain't easy, because the hardest part about being famous is staying famous. The hardest part of being relevant is staying relevant. That's work by itself. You have to find a way you got to keep relevant. Otherwise, they'll forget about you and then you be nothing. And
Right.
that's what I do. I try to stay relevant, and like I said, social media is like your own TV show. So now you got a chance to like give people content, keep being funny if that's what you do. If you're a musician, keep giving them the music. And it ain't easy. Trust me, I mean, social media, all that changed my whole life. I went from 1,000 a year to a whole different level. You
Right.
know, I can get into details between child support and IRS. I don't want you guys want more money from me, but with money comes problem. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it wrong. With money comes problem. It's not, but I would take money problem over broke problem. So it's not too bad of a problem. But you know what? The thing about it being famous or being a celebrity or entertainer, it's a gift from
Right.
God. It's a gift. Certain things, special things are gifts from God. And you have to use it all the right way. Some people use fame for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was never, it was not my plan. I came to America I would have took a job at McDonald's. As long as I made enough money to send my family back in Africa, $50 a week or a month, whatever, I was happy with that.
Right.
Comedy was something that, it was the plan that God had for me to get out of the hood or make a difference to my continent, not just my country, because I represent all of it. Comedy was something that God decided to give me to make a difference to the world. I mean,
Right.
and right now I'm on the verge of like trying to make a difference. Like I'm building schools. I'm building my first school in Ghana. I'm not sure
I
you.
saw that. Yeah.
Um, my plan is to build 3 schools. I'm gonna do one in Ghana, do one in Liberia, and do one in Nigeria. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I'm doing this, the school thing was something that I felt, some personal thing I had to do, because when I first went back home after being in America, when I came to
Mm-hmm.
America, I was a kid in like mid 80s, 87, whatever it was. I didn't go back to I didn't go back to Africa to like to after next Friday till I had some money to go. Can't go
Right.
back home without no money.
Yeah. That's not a cheap ticket either. It's not a cheap ticket. People ain't just going over to
It's not a
different continents like that.
and if they know this thing coming from America, everybody got their hands out.
I can only imagine.
So, when I went home, I went to like the little town where I was born, and I'm looking around, I'm walking out into the streets during school hours, and I'm seeing like little kids that are put in school or not in school. They're out in the marketplace selling food with their moms. I'm like, why are these children selling food? Don't they have to put me in school?
Right.
So in most of Africa, they have like public schools are called government schools, but there's only a few of those, very few. Because
Mm-hmm.
of few of them, they fills up really fast, and the only schools that are left are private schools. If you cannot afford private school or you don't make it in time for a public school, you can't go to school. You out.
Right.
So then this is like in 2002, 2001, whatever. So I went to the local school and tried to get an idea what it costs to go to school. And it was like an average of like $80 a year. I'm like, nigga, we spend that at the bar. Like
Right.
3 drinks. So I remember going to like back to the marketplace, talking to like a parent of like 3 kids, and like I said, let me go pay for your kid to go to school for the next couple of years. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
3 of y'all is gonna cost like $900, nigga. I got that.
Right.
I went and did that, and I said to myself, I got to do something about this. I'm like, I could try to like put 100 kids in school. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna build a school. The average income in at least West Africa. I don't know what happened in like North Africa, like Egypt and Algeria, but I know in West Africa, like we're talking about like Liberia and Ghana and Nigeria,
Right.
income is like under $200 a month.
Wow.
And $200 a month is a good job. $300 is a degree. You have a degree to make $300 a month.
Now, can you translate that for me as far as like in U.S. dollars? What is that like?
Well, it's equivalent to about $200. So that a dollar is in Ghana. Ghana, $1 is about 6 Ghana cedis.
Okay. Yeah.
If you're making if a good job is about 1,200 Ghana cedis. Can you do a lot with it? I don't know. I know for a fact to me, $300. I make that probably every second on stage.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not even a minute. So I'm
So,
like, you know what? I'm gonna build a school. I build a school, a decent school. Like it'll be done in June. It's like halfway right now. I'm saying when it's all said and done, I might spend $300,000, and then to run the school because average teacher make $200 a month is a great job. Like they make $100. Teachers make $100. Police make $100 a month. So I'm like, even if I pay these people 2-3 times the amount, it's not gonna hurt me.
right.
So I could pretty much run a school for about $75,000 a year. You know
That's
what I mean?
that's a big deal because to do something like that, you got to have a big heart, man, and that shows a lot about yourself. Of course, you crack the jokes, you make people laugh all the time, but the side of you, I feel like a lot of people need to also see is what you're doing. You do a lot of things like that you just show that you have a big heart time and time again, and to see that you didn't let the fame get to you and get you so hooked on it as far as separated from where your roots are. You're still very much loved in your country, in our country. Like it's internationally love for you, like all over the place. And I think that's a wonderful thing.
Definitely. And the thing with you know, the thing like I said, when God bless you, you gotta return that back. Otherwise, God give it and He take it too.
Right.
It would. I didn't do it because I know God. Like it's just in my heart to give back. And me, I'm more of like I can't do nothing about the adults. I'm more about children. I think everything starts with education.
Right.
If you want to teach the kids about not catching an STD or not catching COVID, it all starts in school. Everything's education. If they learn about these things, they could not afford it. To become a doctor, a lawyer, a president, it all starts with education. So that's why I said to myself, I'm not about to go to Ghana and try to create jobs. I'm like, listen, I'm just gonna start off with the little ones, the
Yeah.
innocent ones, you know what I mean, and start from there. You know, not the,
Children are still the future of tomorrow, regardless of how you look at it.
I'm like, but the only thing I'm gonna tell these kids because I'm pretty much they'll all get a scholarship. I'm like, you guys all gonna get a scholarship to go to school for free. But the only thing you gotta promise me is that when you make it in life, you're not gonna forget where you came from.
Right.
But the smallest thing to a village matters.
Absolutely. So, like I was about to say, I know you're a busy guy, man. You got a lot going on. I just got to ask you two more questions real quick. Michael Blackson, I'm going to let you go. My first question for you is, if you could send a message to the future 4,000 years from now, what message would you send to that person that could change their life?
To just one person, a whole what?
Or generation? How about a whole generation of people?
Generation. Here's my advice to the new generation. Just, we're in a very crazy world. My God, it's just unbelievable what's going on. Listen, you gotta find. I'm a believer in God. I think you put God first. Because, a lot of times people don't believe in God.
Right.
You know what I mean? I believe in Him. You know, um, and the thing about it, sometimes how can you believe in something you don't know? The thing with God, God will give everybody an opportunity to get to know who He is. It'll be up to you to accept it or not. You know,
That's
like I
true.
know God, and I know He's real. So I put Him first. And then with whatever you do in life, just be yourself. Don't ever change. You work hard, put God first, and whatever is meant for you is gonna happen. Don't compromise yourself. Don't be no dick rider, sweating niggas, always trying to beg. I
Yeah.
hate niggas. I trust me. One thing I hate is niggas. I never begged for nothing a day in my life. It was times when I needed it. I would probably steal before I go in bed. Like I never want somebody to feel like I beg you for this. I always feel like if I can, I always found ways of getting it. Like who's that? Was that Meek Mill in his rhyme? Something. If I don't got no money, I'm not gonna rob nobody, but I'll find a way to steal something. I just don't like to beg. Like work hard, work
Right.
God's first, and just do the right thing. We know the right thing to do. You know,
Mm.
if God blessed you, you gotta return the favor. If you went outside, you found $100,000 on the floor, nigga, and you got a homeless brother, go get a nigga a couple of dollars
Right.
because God sees all that. And that's my thing. A lot of times we grew up, we just selfish at times. I have personal family members that are selfish, and I'm not gonna put nobody in, but I'm like, here's me. I've never starred in a movie. I never had no own movie. I never had no own TV show. You know, I never had nothing that should bring me a whole bunch of money. But
Mm.
God has blessed me with whatever I want. I could get it
That's amazing.
because I know the right thing to do. You know what I mean? I don't forget where I came from, and I give back. Giving back whatever way you give back. You know what I mean? Just find a way to give back.
Absolutely. And then as far as legacy go, what do you want to be remembered for?
That's why just Mikey, I lost my best friend about a month ago to COVID. I don't know you'll follow me or not, the Chinese best friend.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I had COVID myself, so I know for sure.
Um, and what I would, and it's like we all gonna go eventually, somehow, some way,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I'm doing all the things right now to create this legacy.
Right.
The whole schooling thing. Because the thing what I'm doing with this whole school is like, okay, I came from West Africa, I became successful. On every NFL team, there's at least one or two Nigerian kids on that team. On every NFL team. Nigerians are so athletic. And I haven't heard of any of them going and building a school or doing, I'm not sure what to do in their country. If they're doing
Mm-hmm.
or if anybody else from anywhere else that became successful is giving back to where they came from.
Right.
But one of the main reasons I decided to do this and go, in fact, I want to go to a school in Nigeria because I want guys from other countries that are making millions of dollars to like go and give back. I just want to teach them. You know what I mean? Like the littlest things matters.
It does.
I'll go to my village and go get them guys like shoes and T-shirts, and they appreciate it. The small, just don't forget where you came from, and like be willing to, even if you came out the hood, if you from Virginia or you from Southeast DC, wherever you from, go do something back, go give back.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. I want to remember, like, hey, Mike didn't forget where he came from. And he never forgot them kids. Them kids, and wherever he came from, those kids look up to you for the rest of their lives, man. Especially when you go back and you didn't forget about them. And you can be successful in anything. Let me tell them that right now. You can be successful in whatever you do in life. You can work at McDonald's and be a millionaire. Just find out how you can end up owning a McDonald's. 90% of the time to own a McDonald's, you have to work there. So you get a job there, you already got 2 steps in already. Now find out how you can own one. If I was in a comedian, the job before the airlines, I worked at Domino's Pizza.
Mm-hmm.
I started off just answering the phone at 15 years old to working my way, and throughout all high school, I was in Philly working at Domino's. I started answering the phones, taking orders, delivering pizzas on a bike. Then I learned to be assistant manager. Then I became a manager. I was hiring and firing. If I didn't take comedy serious, I would have owned myself like 10 big Domino's by now and still been
Wow.
successful. So you can be successful as a landscaper. You can find out how you can own your own landscaping company. You can be successful in anything you do. You don't have to be an entertainer. You don't have to be a rapper. You have to be a comedian. You have to be an actor. You know, you can do whatever you want to do and be successful in it. Remember that.
That's deep. That's deep right there. You know, I feel like a lot of people needed to hear that because not everyone is going to be a rapper or athlete, you know, and then you have those people that are in those situations and they feeling less than because they feel like I don't have those talents to do all of this, but they need to realize you're still talented in whatever it is you're doing. You just got to figure out how to maximize that reach and that talent and own it, you know. So I really appreciate you for sharing that with us. I know a lot of people needed to hear that.
Definitely, man. Hey, I'm hoping, like I said, even the guy that Valley parked my car, I'm like, he could learn how to own his own company. You could be good in anything you do, man. So just remember that. But suckers.
All right, thank you, Michael Blackson. That was Michael Blackson, everyone. Thank y'all for tapping in. Make sure y'all go follow it on iHeartRadio. We're going to have the replay up there for y'all that tapped in a little bit late. I appreciate you again, brother.
All right, boy.
King and a legend, boy. That's a big one, huh?
He ain't enough to just be a king.
And you got the lion in the background, boy. You's a dangerous guy, man.
You are put through the fire. The only thing that kept me going was I knew it was going to happen. I believed it was going to happen.
So I used to print out that list and I would put my name at the top. I would white out the person on the top and I'd put my name. And I would print out that list and I'd keep it in my pocket for the next 4 months until one day the email that I got had my name at the top.